Yes, children, so coming to the next type of rocks. So, because of some heat and pressure, what happens, below the surface of the earth due to this heat and pressure, some changes will happen to our igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks due to heat and pressure below the surface of the earth. Some changes will happen to igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks, which leads to the formation of another new types of rocks called metamorphic rocks. Yes, because of or due to some heat and pressure below the surface of the earth for this igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks, it leads to the formation of metamorphic rocks. So metamorphosis means what? Changes or some modification, we say. That's the reason they are called metamorphic rocks. The meaning itself is changes or some modifications. Yes, so metamorphic rocks are created by the physical or chemical alteration, that is changes by heat and pressure of an existing igneous or sedimentary material into a denser form due to the action of plate tectonics, compression, stress and shearing forces over a long period of time. Rocks can be essentially warped and deformed, causing them to be compacted into a smaller volume of space. As a consequence, metamorphic rocks are always more dense because of these changes happening to igneous and sedimentary rocks because due to heat and pressure. This metamorphic rocks are formed and they are hard and tough. Because of that itself, that rocks are hard and tough. Metamorphic rocks are always more dense than the original material and also much less susceptible, means capable of to erosional breakdown. As the earth plates move over geologic time, a plate containing igneous or sedimentary rock may become subducted under another plate, means one under the other. The sheer weight of the material about can cause the rock to undergo metamorphism. Yes, in short, we can say because of heat and pressure below the surface of the earth, changes happens to igneous and metamorphic rocks, and this changes or modifications leads to the formation of metamorphic rocks. And the name of metamorphosis, that the name itself, this metamorphosis or metamorphos means itself a change or modification. That's why this name. Then in some cases, heat from the earth's interior can melt the rock slightly. In some cases, what happens? Because of the inside heat, interior heat, the rock will melt, and in a process termed contact metamorphism. In that stage, it is called contact metamorphism. In some cases, this happens because of the interior heat. It melts and it forms contact metamorphism. Examples of metamorphic rocks are schist, means converted basalt, we say, quartzite, compressed sandstone, it is marble, slate, then GNEISS, we pronounce it as nice. This is called nice. Don't read it as Genis, it is nice actually. NICE. How we will read this word? Nice, isn't it? So the same way we read this as nice. Okay, nice, slate, marble. These are the examples for metamorphic rocks. Marble, slate, nice. These are the examples of metamorphic rocks. Yes. So these are the three types of rocks we learned today. Igneous rocks, then sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. So we are learning the lesson rocks and minerals. Both are nature gift to us, and rocks, the earth crust is made up of full of rocks, means we are on the land. Earth gives us land to live and also soil to grow crops, and earth layers or earth crust is made up of rocks, and rocks are of different types, and rocks made up of a chemical substance called minerals. And we learned about different types of rocks, and three among them is igneous rock, then sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. And we learned about examples of all types of rocks. Igneous rocks are different types. Granite is an example, basalt is an example, sedimentary rocks also we learned, sandstone, limestone, chalk. The chalk we use, these are all made up of sedimentary rocks. These are the examples of sedimentary rocks. Then metamorphic rocks also we learned, slate, marble. Marble we use for building purposes. Example, Taj Mahal, fully made up of marble. Yes, so marble. Slate we use for writing, slate, nice. These kinds of stones all are examples of metamorphic rocks. Okay. Yes, so the next is underground natural resources. Yes, we are going to learn about these natural resources. Some rocks contain metallic and some contain non-metallic minerals. So rocks contain minerals, we know. Yes, so rocks contain two or more than two minerals, means many minerals. So some rocks contain metallic minerals. In minerals itself there are two, metallic and non-metallic, and they are called ores. O-R-E-S, ores, O-R-E-S. So rocks contains minerals. Minerals are of two types, metallic and non-metallic, and they are called ores. Example of ores are hematite is an ore, bauxite is an ore. Hematite, H-E-M-A-T-I-T-E, hematite. Then bauxite, B-A-U-X-I-T-E, bauxite. Then pyrite, P-Y-R-I-T-E, pyrite. Then calamine, C-A-L-A-M-I-N-E. These are all examples for ores. Okay, hematite, bauxite, pyrite, calamine. These are ores. These metals, we use these metals to make utensils, household articles, utensils, machines, furniture, wires, coins, rails, electric rails, aeroplanes, etc. So we use these metals to make all these things. So rocks contains metallic and non-metallic minerals, and they are called ores. Ores examples are given here: hematite, bauxite, pyrite, calamine, and we use these metals to make. These metals are used in utensils, household articles, that is utensils, machines, furnitures, wires, everywhere we use these metals. Yes, so next is coal and petroleum. Uses of coal, C-O-A-L. This is another sedimentary rock. Coal is a sedimentary rock, actually, combustible sedimentary rock we say. It is a black colored solid used in railway engines as a fuel. In the olden days, we used coal as fuel. Today also, nowadays also coal is used as fuel. It is used in thermal power production. As for thermal power production, we use steam. Coal we use to generate electricity. Coal is the largest source of fuel to generate electricity worldwide. See the use of coal, you see? Yes. Coal is used in manufacturing industries. For heat and power applications, to generate heat, we use coal. In steel making industry, in cement manufacturing industry, to make other metals like aluminium, copper, iron, silver, for everything we use this coal. Coal is used in manufacturing industry for heat. Then coal is used to make steam for heating. It is used as coke in steel making. So all these industries we use coal to generate electricity, to generate heat. In steel making industry, aluminium, then cement industry, everywhere we use coal, and coal is widely used as fuel and also to generate electricity worldwide. It is a black colored solid. Petroleum, that without saying you know about petrol. Without petrol, now it is impossible for us to live because we need petrol in our vehicles. If we fill petrol only, we can travel from one place to another, isn't it? Yes. Crude oil is used to make petroleum. So crude oil we use to make what? Petroleum. Crude oil is used to make petroleum. A fossil fuel. Crude oil is a fossil fuel, we say, that is made from remains of plants and animals over a long period of time. It is extremely important in our everyday lives. It ensures that we are able to get it to the office and shops without having to resort to walking. If there is no petrol, we need to walk long distances. Imagine without any vehicle, how you reach your destination, your place. Yes, without vehicle we cannot, and vehicle runs with the petrol, isn't it? Yes. This fuel also ensures that we are able to purchase food for our families. Why? Yes, transport of food from one place to another in vehicles. Vehicle need petrol. Yes, for food supply we need this that has been delivered to the store. In short, if the petroleum supply had to cease, imagine if petroleum is not there, if it stops, the world as we know would literally comes to a complete stop, isn't it? Yes, so that much importance is there for petroleum or petrol. And use of petroleum. Petroleum makes the world go around. Petroleum makes the world go around. If we need to go anywhere, we need petrol. Petroleum is instrumental in saving lives. Food supplies rely on petroleum products. Yes, food supplies, they depends on petroleum products, and many petroleum products are we use daily in our daily lives. Many consumer products contain petroleum products. The products which we are using daily, it contains petrol. Even dishwash liquid, eyeglasses, food preservatives, DVDs, children's toys. You can't even imagine. In face mask, gloves, monitor, everywhere these petroleum products are there. That's why they told petroleum makes the world go around, and the consumer products contain petroleum. So these are the main natural resources and uses of natural resources, coal and petroleum. Yes, you learned about coal and petroleum now, isn't it? Yes. Now, once if you know about the natural resources, because the name itself, it is the natural resources. So we need to take care of that because it is natural resources. It should not run out waste, or if it is the risk, what happens? We won't able to move forward, or the world completely comes to a stop, they already told. So we need to conserve it, or we need to protect it, save it, isn't it? Yes. So next is that conservation of natural resources. The way to conserve it, we should know how to use it wisely and judiciously. Okay. Yes, conservation of natural resources. Conservation is achieved through measures adopted in favor of a natural resource in order to increase its longevity. Conservation of natural resources. Yes, longevity and improve usage patterns. Some such measures are as follows. So, how to conserve our natural resources? Coal, petroleum, natural gas, all are our natural resources. We always should not waste these resources while using up of these resources even may get wasted. So we should know the value of each resources well. So without wasting it, genuinely, wisely, we should use these resources. So the first way to make such measures so that we can increase its longevity, to improve the usage, rational use of the resources. Rational use. What do you mean by the rational use? Rational use of the resources means without wastage, waste free. Rational use of the resources is one of the concepts in conservation of natural resources. In an essentially undisturbed condition, without disturbing. We have to use the resource without wasting it, because they are of scientific interest, have aesthetic value, appeal means some related to beauty, or what we say pure value, or have recreational value related to a good taste, we say, or pure value, we say. They are of scientific interest. So preservation also serves an ecological purpose by maintaining the function of the total environment. For example, protection of forest, preservation, preserving forest, we say. We should not cut the trees, the deforestation we should control. Yes, it assures a sustained yield of water, means higher value. We should give more value to the preservation of forest, because we get water through it. This water we have to supply to the urban reservoirs, to town, cities. Water supply is the, and protection of estuaries. Estuary are bodies of water where rivers meet the sea. So they provide homes for wildlife, actually, fisheries, fish species also. So protection of estuary perpetuates ocean fishery. Yes, they are the home of wildlife and the fish species. But rational use is not just preservation. It doesn't mean that we need to only preserve. It also implies that the direct use of resources, means these raw materials, for the commodity or recreational value. Thus, harvesting of forest crops, livestock, grazing of grassland, catching fish, hunting wild animals can be considered a legitimate part of the rational use of natural resources. Legitimate part is a genuine or lawful part of the rational use of natural resources. This rational use, it contains preservation of forest, it contains everything. This hunting wild animals, catching fish, everything, grazing of this wild animal, this animals, livestock, harvesting of this, everything is included in this. If they are carried out in such a way that the resource is perpetuated and not endangered. Endangered means at risk, at helpless, it should not go waste. So we need to preserve it. Perpetuate means we have to maintain it. We have to continue the usage. We have to give this to our next generation. So that is rational use of the resources. Next is sustained yield. Sustained yield. Yes, concept of sustained yield is involved in these activities. What is that? This means cropping the annual surplus of individuals so as not to endanger the breeding stock of game animals or fish. Yes, we should not endanger the breeding stock of these animals or fish. Similarly, tree cutting means deforestation, grazing of grass should remove only the annual increment and no more. So we have to sustain the yield, means we have to keep this in existence so that we can give this to our next generation. So we need to have a control over deforestation also. Yes, and the third is restoration. In conservation of natural resources also include restoration, restoration we say. What do you mean by that? Yes, this is another important aspect of conservation. It is a widely familiar conservation measure, which is essentially the correction of past careless activity. We need to correct those past careless activities that have impaired the productivity of the resource base. So restoration means bringing back to the former position, means we have to improve the condition. Deforest areas, so already the areas which have been deforested, that areas mined and barren land where very few plants will grow, dry areas, and can be revegetated or revegetated means we have to provide vegetation to those areas with some effort. We have to put some effort and we have to restore those areas. We have to bring them to the new condition of, we have to bring back them to the former position by doing this activities. Depleted animal and plant populations can recover if they are accorded protection. This measure is familiar in modern soil and water conservation practices applied to agricultural land. So these kind of measures also we have to do with some effort. Restoration is possible, however, only as long as species are protected. If these species are protected, all living organisms should protect, and genetic diversity of life is maintained. Diversity of life, we should maintain that. We should understand that each individual is unique here. That is diversity of life that we have to maintain. Diversity of life. Simple example if we say is our classroom itself. In our classroom we can find many children, different types of children from different background. All are not of same kind. Each individual is unique. They are special. We need to understand them. So or total number of genetic characteristics in making of species, that is diversity of life, that we have to maintain. When species become extinct, the restoration of past conditions become impossible. Yes, if once that species get extinct animals, already you learned, like dinosaurs, woolly mammoth, we cannot see those animals now. They are not here now. Millions of years back they were there. So once the animals or species get extinct, then we cannot do anything. So before itself, restoration is we should do, otherwise it will become impossible. So under conservation we have to do rational use of resources. At the same time we have to sustain the yield and also restoration. Then next is protection. Yes, protection of natural resources. Protection of natural resources from commercial exploitation. Yeah, we should not exploit these resources to prolong the use of recreation, watershed protection, soil, water, and scientific study. This is the concept underlying the establishment and protection of parks and reserves of many kinds. Is we need to protect some national parks, bird sanctuaries, animal park where we have animals and birds are protected. Yes, so this kind of protection we should do for that is called protection of natural resources. Then reutilization. Next is reutilization. What is reutilization? It is the reuse of waste material. Waste material we can reuse it again and again, as in the use of industrial water after it has been purified and cooled. Yes, we can purify it, we can cool it, after we can reuse the waste material like that. The same process becomes recycling. Yes, that is recycling, reusing or recycling. If the water material requires minor treatment, this waste water we can recycle it or reuse it. How? By undergoing some process we can make it useful. After undergoing some treatment it can be used. That is called reutilization instead of wasting it. As in the use of scrap iron in steel manufacturing steel companies, they use scrap iron, waste iron they use. Means that is called reusing it without wasting it. Next is substitution. Substitution. These are the ways by which we can conserve or preserve the natural resources. Substitution means replacement. We say substitution, replacement, an important conservation measure. It has two aspects: the use of common resource instead of a rare one when it is for the same purpose. We can use a same purpose. Suppose in your family, both your daddy and your mother or two people are going to the same area. Why should use two different vehicles? Because they are using going to the same area, they can use only one car, right? Yes, like that. Means for the same purpose, common thing you can use without wasting it. The use of a renewable rather than a non-renewable resource when conditions permit. If condition permit, we can use of renewable rather than a non-renewable resources. Renewable resources will not run out. Sun, winds, they are all renewable source of resources, and non-renewable resources, there is a chance to run out after using it, so we have to preserve it. Yes. Then it says allocation. Yes, so next is allocation. Under conservation of natural resources, this is also important. Allocation concerns the strategy of use, the best use of a resource. It is called allocation. Whatever resources are available resources to various means, resources which are available, we should give it to the various means. That is best use of resource. For many resources and the products, the market price decides as to the use of a resource is put, but under certain instances, examples, general welfare may dictate otherwise. The allocation of resources may be controlled by government through the use of quotas, rationing and outright permits. Yes, so allocating to a specific persons or various means. So whatever resources are available, we have to make them available to various means. Allocating to the specific purposes is allocation. Mostly it has been controlled by government. The last one is integration. Integration of resources. Integration of resources. It actually means the process of effectively identifying the resources and acquiring it, or we say allocating it, external resources, that value information or updating information, we say about all the resources. That also government should do, the integration of resources. Integration is in resource management is a conservation measure because it maximizes over a period of time the sum of goods and services that can be had from a resource. From a resource, all the sum of good and service, or a resource complex such as river valley. This is preferable to maximize certain benefits from a single resource at the expense of other benefits or other resources. So integration is a central objective of planning. Integration, or it is a central objective planning, means updating information about all the resources. That's why it is called process of effectively identifying the resource and acquiring it. Allocating it means allocating to specific means, external resources, value information, updated information. Yes, this is called integration of resources. So under conservation of natural resources, we learned about rational use of resources without wasting of resources, waste free using without wasting, judicially using, wisely using, sustained yield, we need to sustain it. We should keep in existence, we have to use it continuously, that you should keep in the mind. Restoration, or restoration we say, means bringing back into the former position or condition. We have to improve the condition of the barren land, forested land, everything, we can vegetate them. Yes, so with some effort has to be taken for that. Protection of the natural resources, that have to be done. Protection of some parks, national bird sanctuaries, like that. Reutilization, reusing the materials. Once we used and waste material, we can reuse it again, as we reuse the scrap iron in steel manufacture. Yes, like that. Reusing, reutilization, recycling of waste materials, recycling of waste paper, examples. Then substitution means replacement. Yes, For if something is for same purpose, you can use the common thing. As using a common vehicle to go to a same destination, don't use different vehicles. One family, different members going to the same place, they can use one vehicle. Yes, like that. This is a simple example I told. Okay, diversity of life we should maintain. That means we should understand that each individual is unique. That should be there in the mind, and we have to understand. Then allocating the available resources to the specific means, to the various means. Then last is integration of natural resources. It is a central objective of planning, updating about the information about the resources. So these are the ways by which we can conserve our natural resources. Now the lesson has been completed. We learned about rocks and minerals. In this lesson we learned about different types of rocks, then the minerals we learned, and we learned about natural resources and how to use it wisely or how to conserve them. Yes, time to recall. Rocks are made of minerals. Yes, rocks are made up of chemical substance called minerals. Rocks contain 2 or more minerals. There are 3 kinds of rocks. Which are the 3 types of rocks you learned, children? Igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. Igneous rocks such as granite and basalt. These are the examples of igneous rocks. Granite and basalt are formed when magma collects either below or above the surface of earth, cooling and hardening of the rocks. Because of that we are getting igneous rocks. That are example granite and basalt. Then sedimentary rocks such as limestone and sandstone are formed from deposition of sediments in layers. Yes, because of the deposition of these sediments, small particles of rocks undergoing over a period of time, because of the sediments deposited, we get this sediments. Metamorphic rocks, yes, well, due to heat and pressure, the igneous and sedimentary rocks undergo some change and we get this, or leads to the formation of metamorphic rocks. Example, marble, slate, gneiss. Yes, metamorphic rocks such as marble or slate are formed when igneous or sedimentary rocks undergo changes due to heat and pressure. Then coal is a sedimentary rock formed from the remains of plants. Is called as a fossil fuel because it forms over long period of time from remains of plants and animals. It is, so we need to conserve it. Petroleum is formed from the remains of plants and animals in the sea. Crude oil, from crude oil we get petroleum. Oil, natural gas, petroleum, coal, these are all natural resources or fossil fuels we say. So we need to conserve it, and how to conserve them, the measures, the steps to be taken to conserve these natural resources also you learned. Yes, so children, we have completed the lesson. Go through the lesson well, read the lesson and read about rocks and minerals, about our natural resources, how to conserve our natural resources. Okay.